This is Outside the Round with Matt Burrill, a Raise Rowdy podcast.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Outside the Round with me, Matt Burrill. Today, a very special guest. He just released his debut album, Disappearing Days. He's from the great state of Texas. He knows his way around a hockey rink.
That's right.
And I'm excited to have him here. It's my boy, Brandon Walter.
Yeah,
Buddy, it's been a long time. How's life?
Things are good, man. You know, just same old, just writing a whole bunch and posting videos and trying to get out there as much as I can. So
Well, I wouldn't even say it's same old because now you've got this debut album out.
That's
You've
right.
been in town for a while. I remember when
Yep.
you first got out here. It's been what now? A couple years?
It's been like a year and a half now. Yeah,
Full time out here.
full time out. Yeah, I moved here like last June. So yeah, I've been here for quite a bit now, and I'm enjoying it. Yeah, really am.
How's it feel to have a project out in the world, a debut album with the team that you have, like Disappearing Days? It's from top to bottom. It's so authentic to you and your story and your writing from when we first met you.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, no, I mean, it's really a cool feeling. I mean, you know, when we first started, when I decided I want to do this music thing, like what, 2.5 years ago now, when I graduated, you know, we were just kind of doing the single game and trying to release what we could, and everything was like kind of random. It was just like what we could afford to put out, really. And so our first like kind of project is not really a project, it's just a collection of what we had, and it was called I Don't Know What I'm Doing Yet, because that's exactly, you know, what it was. But you know, I told Grady, my manager, Grady Smith, that, you know, I wanted to move out to Nashville, and he was game for it because he was out here already, and he's just like, all right, we're gonna write now, like, welcome to Nashville. And you know, I wrote every day for like 3 or 4 months when I first got here, and it was the first time I was like, wow, like I have a collection of songs now, you know, like to kind of pick from. So, you know, it was a huge gamble, and I'm just so honored that Grady, you know, believed as much as he did in what we were doing, and, you know, was just so supportive through the whole process. And, you know, it was the first time we got in a studio with 12 songs in a week and a half, and like you're like, all right, we got to pump all these out. And, you know, for the resources we had and the money that we had at the time, like I'm just so proud that we were able to, you know, put it together. And, you know, this year, you know, found out that some people cared about it. So, you know, that it's pretty awesome. I'm really proud of you know, just the people that I've been able to work with, and, you know, get myself to sitting right here. So
yeah, dude, absolutely, man. Well, we're happy to have you on here. So
100%.
Take us back. You're from Texas, but you bounced around a little bit playing hockey,
for
right?
sure. Yeah. So yeah, no, I played hockey for like almost 20 years, something like that. So it was a long time, and I lived a whole life before this. But yeah, so I grew up in Dallas, and you know, you play youth hockey as long as you can in Texas, and then you kind of got to move away, and, you know, you kind of top out at a certain point. And so I moved to Cleveland when I was 18, and then when I was 19 turning 20, I moved to Philly, and then I was 20 turning 21, I lived in Odessa, back in Texas, out in like way West Texas, which is
Playing hockey in Odessa, in
Texas.
high school football capital, Friday Night Lights country.
We got to see a game too. We got to be like on the field for it was Mojo versus Odessa High School, so it was like a big, you know, rivalry. It was pretty sick. But yeah, so I did that, and then got recruited to go play in college up in Chicago. So I lived there for 4 years, and then I moved to Austin right out. I would just miss Texas so much, living in Chicago, you know, especially during the time I was there. I mean, it was like COVID and just like a bunch of stuff like going on in Chicago. And I was like, all right, I got to get south, you know, like I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
But so I went to Austin, had a great year. And that was my first year kind of, you know, diving into this whole music thing. And then I'm, you know, been in Nashville now for a year and a half, and it's been awesome.
What have been some of the biggest differences that you've seen coming from a music city in Austin?
Sure,
they always say keep Austin weird. It's got a lot of character, but different character than what we have here in Nashville.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
what were some of the adjustments of going from one music city to the music city?
You know, yeah. I mean, I think like I made a lot of friends in Austin, and, you know, a lot of new friends for me, because, you know, when I got there, I had my roommate that I was with, and he, you know, works at Oracle, shout out Pat. But, you know, he wasn't doing music, and I was just kind of like playing on the street and doing open mics and trying to meet as many people as I can. And then, you know, eventually got to play at this one place called Saxon Pub, which was like, you know, a place that I like to call home now in Austin. And so, you know, it's different for sure. Like, I'd say the just the scene is different. I think the live music scene out there is so important, as it is here, but it's just different. You know, it's like, it's kind of a tighter knit group of people, and you really have to like know somebody to kind of get into that Texas scene. You have to earn it, really. And in Nashville, I mean, there's just so many people doing the same thing, which is a great thing and a bad thing. I mean,
it's a lot
depends how you look at it.
It's a lot of bars too, to where there's so many and multiple stages in every bar.
In every bar.
What do you do? Was it a lot of covers, or does Austin kind of embrace when you're playing out doing the original thing?
I mean, yeah, Austin still has bars that are playing cover sets, like 3-hour sets, like they do here. But I was just focused on kind of doing my own stuff, and when I was like doing street stuff, I would mix my stuff in with covers, and like private shows were covers and whatever. But I really tried to, from the jump, focus on what I was writing and try and get that better and see if I can connect with people, and if not, then move on and make another better song. And but here it's been awesome. I mean, I feel like Nashville's kind of been like a home base for me. So I played like maybe 4 or 5 shows here in Nashville since I've been here. Like for myself, I'd say like I've done like we did that round, done some rounds here, which has been a new thing. It's not a huge thing in Austin, rounds are, but it's been really awesome. I think the biggest thing that I've really enjoyed moving to Nashville is the writing scene out here. When I lived in Austin for a year, and I wrote like 25 songs in that first year, and I was like, there we go. That's a lot, And then I moved here and wrote like 40 songs in 3 months, and I was like, oh, that's that's how it works out here. But I think that's been such an amazing thing for me, because especially as a new artist, like just developing the practice of songwriting has been such an amazing part of my like improvement, I'd say. It's really cool to now go into these rooms and not be nervous, and like not like I wonder if it's going to be a good song, and like I think the important part is like finishing every song you go through. And now that like I feel a little bit more seasoned than I was when I first got here, like I can go in confidently and have a start and be like, let's do this, I want to go this direction, let's try and make it sound like X, Y, and Z. And before it was just kind of like, hey, I kind of having a title here, and I hope we can make something cool. But
yeah, man, it's like a muscle, and I equate it to it. I didn't play hockey, but growing up in New York, like went to a lot of games at the Garden, watching the Rangers, watching the Preds and stuff here. People don't realize how hard it is to ice skate, and have you guys practice skating at such a young age? And you practice skating all the time. Guys in the NHL still are doing like that's like the core of it. I feel 100%. Like songwriting and playing guitar is part of that, where it's something that the fan might take for granted. Like, of course they know how to write songs, of course they know, but it's something that you keep working on and keep practicing all the way through your career.
That's absolutely right.
So that's how, like, looking at it, like just transitioning from like hockey to from being an athlete to being an artist and being a musician and being a songwriter. You're getting more reps out here, so of course you're going to grow.
No, absolutely. I mean, it is funny, like when you tell like your friends that just aren't in this scene, which is most of them, you tell them like, oh, I'm gonna go do music, and it's like sounds pretty insane to most people, and it kind of is if you think about it that way. But like, I really look at music or anything you're trying to pursue. I mean, I learned a lot coming from hockey, and failing, succeeding, hardships, like there's so many things that translate from just practicing every day at something into this music thing, which is like, if you decide to do music, you might as well just go as hard as you absolutely can, like, and practice and write every day, sing every day, play guitar, pick up the guitar for a couple hours every day. I mean, there's no point in just like kind of trying it. It's like, you're doing the impossible, a lot of people say, but it really does become possible when you put the hours in, and you can start to realize some of that improvement, which has been such a cool thing, and feeling like just you have the babyest amount of control in what you're doing, especially in something that's so like so variable like music. So no, it's been great, and I think I've luckily been able to take a lot of lessons learned in hockey and translate them here. I mean, like the crossover is pretty hilarious.
There's so many guys that came up as athletes. Like
yeah, man.
Brett Young was a professional baseball player that had to have a shoulder that couldn't be fixed by Tommy John, and then he started picking up a guitar.
Exactly.
You know, there's so many
100%.
guys that have that story of coming from that sports world, and I think it makes touring a little bit easier because show day's game day, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. It's this. I mean, it's the same thing. Like, really, like you think about like when you're playing junior, right? Is like it's. I guess the best way I could describe it to someone who doesn't know what junior hockey is, it's like kind of like JUCO baseball or like semi-pro hockey, but you're not like getting paid. It's just like everything's paid for. You're on the road every weekend. You're sharing hotel rooms with the boys. I mean, it's like, you know, the worst teams that you're on, like you have, you know, kind of a, you know, crap. Can you say crappy?
Yeah, you say whatever you want.
You have like a little shittier bus, and then you move up to like a, you know, by my last year we had a sleeper bus. We had actually Reba's old tour bus, which is kind of funny, in Odessa, and you know, the rooms get a little nicer, and the venues, the rinks get a little nicer, and it really is the same. I mean, being on the road in hockey is like almost the exact same thing as being on the road in music, and you know, luckily I had, you know, quite a few years under my belt before I went on tour. I love this story. Went on with Kashus Culpepper's first tour, and we got a text from Cole Calfee, the TM at the time, and he was just like, "All right, van's here," and he sent a picture of a minivan, and I was like, "Let's go, dude!" We all packed in there and just got after it, and you know, it was like weekend trips, so we'd come home back to Nashville. And,
weekend warrior.
Yeah, it was so awesome. And then you get in the Sprinter vans. I haven't been in a bus yet. I've walked around in one before.
It'll get there.
You know, we're getting there. We're working on it, but you know, that's definitely the next thing to achieve for sure.
Yeah, and you talk about being on the road with a guy like Cash. You've gotten to be out with Wyatt Flores, Evan Holner, Liam St. John.
Yep, absolutely.
There's a cool crew of guys and girls that are like in your world sonically and like in that world of like Grady's homies too, where like you look at what like Julia DeGrasse is doing or what the Low Gap Boys are doing and Max Allen. Like it seems like right now for you to be putting out the record that you've put out, it's right now Nashville's embracing this style and this sound, and there's so many of you guys and girls coming here at like the exact same time. It's special, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's been such a wonderful like group of people to be surrounded by like every day. I mean, Max was literally at my house last night. I lived with Evan. He just got a new house, so you know, he's at the house right now. He's writing with the guy, and but yeah, I mean, it's been so great to just, you know, be in the same world, be in a new city with a bunch of people that it's all, you know, they're in the same shoes as I am. Everyone's trying to write, everyone's trying to grow, and you know, the grind, it doesn't stop, like, you know, everyone says, but like really, I mean, it's great to like be able to call somebody one day and just be like, dude, like today, like what's going on? They're like, yeah, dude, it's like it's the same, you know, it's the same for everybody, and there's such wonderful music coming out of like kind of this, you know, independent mindset that you know, a lot of guys are coming to town with, which is so cool. And you know, when I first started doing this whole music thing, before we had a record deal or anything like that, like Evan really took me under his wing and, you know, helped me out by getting me on Cloverdale and put my music out there.
Which is a family, man.
Dude, the Clover Cult. Oh yeah.
The Clover Cult.
The Clover Cult, baby. Yeah. That's the group chat's name. But yeah, it's been great. I mean, you know, like they've been so helpful in just, you know, the development of this music career. I mean, there's so many pieces that go into it and so many things to be, you know, wary of. And, you know, Evan is like the king of independent music right now.
The Godfather, bro.
Yeah, he really is. He really is. Yeah, and he's, you know, he works so hard and he crushes it like every time. And you know, he's so creative and he's just got a cool ass sound, man. And you know, so very lucky to call him a friend. And yeah, I mean, you know, you mentioned Wyatt and Cash, like those guys are just crushing it. I mean, they're just doing so good, and it's so cool to like, you know, start with some of these guys and just see how far they can get and how far they're getting, you know, like they're just continuing to crush it. And you know, it's been such an honor to just be part of that crew, you know, the new crew in Nashville, I suppose.
Yeah, man, because you see different classes come in. Like I've been in town for 7 years now, so like I moved here around the same time as as like the Dylan Marlows and the Ella Langleys and like the Trey Lewises, and like the class before me was like the Muscadine Bloodline guys, the Luke Combs. And I know you've gotten to write with Gary and collaborate with him, and he's another. If we're using the crime families, the Familia background,
that's right.
Another one of the dons of like the families of independent. It's it's definitely country, but some would call it Americana songwriter.
Sure.
Gary Stanton's on there too. What's it been like having him as like a collaborator and like a brother type figure? It's
actually such an honor. I mean, music is such a funny full circle thing. You know, it's random. It's not like ever intentional, I feel like, but you know, Evan and I, like the first time like we hung out in Austin, it was like maybe our second time hanging out. We like posted a Muscadine Bloodline song, "Me on You," and you know it did pretty well or whatever on Instagram. But like, but it's just so cool to be like, you know, Grady's just like, oh hey, you want to go write with Gary from Muscadine Bloodline? I'm like,
over at the Amber Sound, baby.
That sounds pretty cool. I'd love to. So you know, it was a great day. It was like I was so nervous. Like I didn't really like have much of an idea going in. I knew that we had like almost this album done, and we were trying to accomplish like a certain sound. And you know, he really kind of stepped into the plate, being like the professional that he is, and was like, well, what if we did something like this? And he did it on guitar, and I was like, yeah, that works for sure. And he started like jotting some notes down. I'm like, yeah, let's go with that. Like, you know, I felt like I was kind of just watching him work, and you know, just to be able to like have, you know, even just a little bit of insight on writing with him was pretty amazing. And just seeing how those guys work is pretty awesome. I mean, you know, they're crushing it, obviously.
Yeah, man. So. I had the pleasure of being their merch seller right before COVID.
Yes, that's right.
I was with them for about right around a year.
Okay,
in the Sprinter days, you know, way back in the day. And it's like they do it all themselves, which is what's crazy. And they're so meticulous, and now it's like the way that they collaborate, where they'll sit down, and the way that their writing process works, and then just going downstairs and recording something.
Yeah, man.
So you talk about the process of you and Grady going in and doing this record.
Sure.
And I love that you guys recorded the record as like one long thing, as opposed to just piecing different things together.
Absolutely.
So talk about why you wanted to throw it back to doing it in that vein versus like single here, single here, and
100%.
Recording them with different people.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think the way that Grady puts it, and the way that I, you know, agree with, is like, you know, I feel like with kind of the social media stuff, like, you know, I feel like a lot of times the strategy of social media is like, let's throw everything at the wall, and if something sticks, that's awesome. And, you know, we'll just keep trying to recreate that. And, you know, I feel like that, for good or for bad, you know, has been a little bit of how, you know, releasing music has been, you know, over the last couple of years, just with social media having such a huge impact on the music industry. And, you know, it wasn't like, it wasn't not working for us, but it wasn't like doing anything crazy for us, you know? And, you know, we're still new to the game, so we're still learning. And, you know, when we were talking about, you know, making our first album, when, you know, maybe we like weren't ready for it or whatever, you know, like, you gotta like take as many swings as you can. Cause like, you know, I graduated at 25 and I'm 27 now. And it's just like, you know, times, you know, I'm in a good spot, but like times like feels a little ticking when you graduate at an age of like 25 and you're like, oh shit, like I gotta pay bills and like be an adult now.
Oh, you're adulting, bro.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, you know, Grady says it like we wanted to class ourselves as an album artist and, you know, make careers. Like, I mean, when you talk about any great band, I mean, you're talking about, you know, just the certain albums that they put out. And, you know, a lot of the earlier stuff is what people always fall back on. So it's so nice. In my head, it's so nice to like be able to put out a big project and then put out another one. Like, you know, you think about like Zach Bryan, the Red Clay Strays, you know, you can name 20, and it's like people are like, oh, they blew up overnight, and it's just like, that's not true. Like, it's like their third or fourth album that people are discovering them, and then they have all of this other work that they put in previously that people can go find and listen to, and like that's such a special thing. And you know, so that was, you know, really our goal going into it. And you know, the reason that we did it in a week and a half and did it, you know, right there is, you know, A, that was what we could afford to do, you know, and B, like we did it. It was our first time doing live tracking. So, it was our first time having session artists, and like, some of the best guys in Nashville came through and played on that. And one day we had Kurt Ozon coming in.
Oh,
just ripping
Brother
around.
Kurt.
Yeah, it was
Brother
so
Kurt.
sick. I mean, it was an honor to have him there. But these guys are crazy, man. We had 11 songs to come in and make during this week and a half, and some days we had a new group of people. Some days it was like kind of the same, and you show them these songs and they write down their charts, and it was the first time I've ever seen charts get made.
Isn't it crazy,
dude? It's wild, man. They listen to it. They're like, all right, here's the song we're doing today. They listen to it and they're like, all right, play it one more time. And then they write down like a couple more notes, and they're like, all right, we got it. And then they just go in and do it, and it's perfect every time. And then if it's not, you just be like, hey, can you do this instead? And they're like, yeah, whatever, that's fine. And then you get it. It's just so efficient, and at the same time, it keeps that live sound that we were really trying to accomplish with all this stuff. And it was just, I mean, it was such an incredible experience. I had so much fun, and I'm so excited to do it again for next year. So
yeah, man. And it's like when you record, since you're recording in that one segment of time, if you want what you recorded, say on Tuesday, if you slept on it Tuesday night and went back on Wednesday, you could go in and just make that change.
Just go fix it. Yeah,
because
I mean,
you're in album mode.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, and the the rhythm section is once they're locked in, then the song is halfway there anyway. So you just gotta stack some stuff, redo vocals, and you're all set. And if you mess something up, it's all to a click, so you're okay, But no, it was really awesome.
Of the 11 songs on the record, what are like a few that I know you're proud of all of them. They're all your children.
Yeah.
What are like the few where I can't wait to see how people react to this?
Yeah. So okay, there's I guess ones that we didn't do as singles. I guess I'll name because I love all the ones that we put out as singles. Those are definitely our front runners.
There's a reason they put them out as singles.
Exactly, absolutely, yeah. But there's this one song. It's my favorite song. Selfishly, just because it's an absolutely true story about it's called Fighting Today, and it's just like a dumb, silly song, but like I love it because it's a true story. It's about how my roommate in Austin and we got in a bar fight, but the caveat is that we were on shrooms. So
which is a very common thing in Austin, Texas. Yes. I'll have you know, they keep Austin weird for a reason.
And that's right. Yeah. But I mean, so what happened was we went out on a Saturday night as gentlemen do, and then we woke up kind of just like one of those where you wake up in the morning and it's just like, I'm awake, all right, like one of those, still kind of feeling it. And then we were like, all right, let's go to the golf course. And then so we just played golf immediately, like woke up, just went straight away. It was 1,000 million degrees outside in Texas, around football season. And so, we didn't drink any water, kind of, hair the dog, and had a couple beers out there, didn't eat anything. Came back to the apartment, and we were just sitting there and still hadn't eaten, and threw some football on, and we're like, let's take mushrooms. And then we did that, and then we're just kind of enjoying it for a little bit, and then we're like, you know what, let's go to a bar. So still 1,000,000 degrees out, so we're like, still feeling pretty good, and we went to the bar, and this all happened within 30 minutes of being there. But like we walk in, I go right to the bar, get a bucket of beers for us. I turn around, it's me, my roommate, my brother, his girlfriend, and I go to the bar, I turn around, I got my bucket of beers, and my brother's like waving me over, like super. I'm like, okay, all right, and I'm on mushrooms. Keep in mind, so I'm kind of freaking out, and I'm like,
bringing beers back. Yeah, right, gang.
Exactly. And there's like 200 people there, like or more than that, probably just yelling. Everyone's watching football, screaming, dogs barking, and I'm just overstimulated. And then I come back, my buddy's just on the ground, like he had a heat stroke and passed out, like within minutes of getting to this bar. So we're just like, I'm freaking out, and luckily some nurses from like the crowd just came in and were helping him, and and then this guy from across over there comes up and starts recording my friend on the ground. Like this is serious. Like he's like this on the ground. Like I thought he was gonna die. And then EMS came and the whole bit. This guy's still recording back here, and my brother is behind me, and I was obviously focused on my buddy.
Yeah.
And so this guy's recording my brother, he thought that he was recording his girlfriend's butt at first. So he like smacked his phone. He's like, don't do that. Like you can't, whatever. And then the guy has this, he's like, oh, like he got himself that way. I'm allowed to record. This is a public bull, like doing that thing.
Geez.
So he picks his phone back up. My brother like smacks his phone the second time. Like it goes flying. And then he pushes my brother. So then I kind of figure out what's going on and I turn around and, he hits my brother. So I got to hit him. And then, we get after a little bit. And then all 5 bouncers came over and beat the shit out of this guy. I mean, really gave him one. Yeah. And, they ripped his pants in half, like threw him out. Like it was a real like thing. Anyway, so we left, but that's the song. It's called Fighting Today. You go check it out. It's awesome. But I love that one. And then maybe the opposite of that is there's a song that I wrote called with Zach Williams from the Lone Bellow called No One's Gonna Do It For You. It's a fatherly advice song. So kind of quite the opposite, but it's just great, easy listening. And, it's the advice that my dad gave me when, I called him. It was my last finance class, like junior year spring, and I just had some computer science and GEDs left. And this guy came in and gave a presentation about like he had the job I wanted, at a big bank and doing super well. And I just got out of that class and I was like, I don't know. Like, not that I'd hated anything he said. I just was kind of bored, and I was just like, I don't know if I want this right now. And I called my parents and I was just like, I think I want to move to Austin and like not do this. And they're like, all right, well, the real world is real and you got to pay bills and you got to, pay, get life insurance. Now I'm turning 26. You get off your parents' life insurance and
life
then
insurance, health insurance, all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Or I'm sorry, did I say I meant health insurance, but, his advice was basically like, do what you want to do. No one's going to do it for you. You got to figure it out yourself. And, so we wrote a song about it, and it was a cool thing to go write with Zach. I mean, they have such amazing music, the Lone Bellow, and, it's been great to just like kind of be in their vicinity. And, I showed up and all his kids are just running around, and I was like, let's write like a nice little advice song, because
while his kids are there
right.
too.
While his kids are there, and I'm
cool.
just like, let's do this.
I like that.
And he was really in for it. And then I'd say like my last favorite one is a song called Pathetic. It's just a nice love song about a girl I was dating, and it was just kind of the first time I was really, really in love, and it was really nice because it was just the first time I'd been in a relationship, and I could see a future, could see like, oh, maybe I could marry this girl, and that was just such an amazing feeling that I tried to convey in this song. And it's called Pathetic because I just felt like I could do anything for this girl, and that being in love kind of feels pathetic sometimes.
Oh, it does.
So,
for sure, man, for
absolutely.
sure. And that's the last song on the project. Is that done for a certain reason? Because you started out with Pipe Dream, which is cool too. I love that that's like the first track. Like for people who hadn't heard your stuff before, if they're clicking on the record and be like, oh, what's this Brandon guy all about? And for that to be like the first one, do you have that as the opening and closing of the book for a reason?
I'd say so. Yeah. So Pipe Dream is one of my favorite songs to play live, like just hands down. It's a song that I wrote before any of this. Like this was like a song I wrote in college, and to think that it's on our first project and especially the first song on our first project is really just a cool thing for me. Cause the co-writing scene is so cool, and to be able to like collaborate with all these different artists is awesome. But to have something that's yours is really nice. So anyway, that song it's just about, deciding to kind of, take this music journey and, take it seriously. And it feels like, the odds are against you for a lot of it, for all of it, and, to stay above water, I was bartending, and, that's, a huge part of the song. And, just to say like, hey, I'm going for this, and like nothing's gonna stop me. Like it's, I feel like that's a powerful thing for anybody to hear, and especially when you're doing something as risky as doing music.
You're betting on yourself, dog.
100%.
You're betting on yourself, and you're very you're a very bright guy. Like you're very well spoken, and I could tell like you're very strategic and cerebral. Grady is as well, knowing Grady as well as I do.
Of course.
So Disappearing Days,
Sure.
What made you want to go with that as the title track? Because I love that as the title of the project. Like it is a cool alliterative
for sure.
type of thing.
We actually had that title before we went in to go write that song with Gary, and you know, we kind of pitched the idea to him when we were singing or writing that song, and we're just like, this is the project. We don't really know like what song we're gonna write today. He goes, let's just write that. Let's
just write the title. Good way exactly. As a songwriter. Yeah. If someone comes to you and says, hey, the name of the project's gonna be this, but we don't have the song yet. Try and write the title track.
Song. Yeah, exactly.
Smart.
Right. Yeah.
Gary Stanton, baby.
100%.
I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. So you know, it's a song about, you know, just literally my life experience so far. I mean, you know, like I said, I started college at 21, graduated at 25, and you know, when you're getting into the world at the age of 25, you know, especially jumping into music, you know, you feel pretty behind the 8 ball, especially when, you know, when anybody starts music, there's nothing going on for you. You got to figure it out. Yeah. And, you know, that the process of figuring out is, you know, a process I'm still living in, and probably will be for a long time. But, you know, it just feels like being behind the 8 ball is really it's a motivating factor for anybody, really. I mean, especially when you're devoting your life to something like music. Like it's just something you have to put time into every single day, and no matter if you feel behind, no matter if you feel like it's not working, like as long as you keep pushing and getting better, like it's gonna work out. And you know, that's just the tune we made. You know, it's a song about me moving out and getting into the world, and you know, I might not make it, but I'm sure gonna try. You know, so
yeah, dude, that's awesome, man. What do you like doing when you're not doing the music stuff? Because you're on the grind, and you have been since you got here.
Oh, yeah.
But when we're unwinding, when we're not out doing shows with the boys, or we're not writing, or we're not talking about music, which to me is one of the hardest things. You hang out with your buddies in town, and everybody's in music.
That's right.
I struggle with it too.
That's right. Yeah.
You find music is always the conversation and stuff, but what do we like to do when we unwind? Like,
man.
We're not on the clock.
I don't have a illustrious life. I go to the gym. I play golf. I'd say that's my biggest pastime.
Favorite courses around here, because we have a lot of them.
Yeah,
people sleep on Middle Tennessee golf.
You know what?
We have a lot of courses, some very nice ones.
There's
when
some
you
very
make
nice.
it big, that you can pay to be a member.
That's
of
exactly
some very
right.
Nice country
That's exactly
clubs
right.
out here.
Yeah. I say like my favorite munis right now, Oak Hills, which is up in Greenbrier.
It's a good spot. Yeah,
great track. Love that track. McCabe, I played recently. That was really fun.
It's pretty quick, and it's nice that it's in town.
Yeah, it's nice. It's yeah, exactly. Yeah. We've been walking on. Well, I guess the sun's going down now, but we've been walking on at Shelby at 5:01 because they close at 5, and you can just jump out. Everyone in Nashville shows up at 5:01. But you know, it's that one's been great. I played Natchez, Los Natchez.
Natchez Trace.
Yeah. I played that. It was like my first country club or whatever.
Nice.
I played. It was good
pretty
spot.
cool.
Yeah, I had fun.
Get a couple number ones, bro.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. But yeah, I got to check out Hermitage. That's the one I want to.
Hermitage is cool. The Hick is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I ball on the budget of playing the munis as well.
Yeah.
I love playing Riverside.
Riverside's lit, dude. I live right next to it.
Really? So you're like right out here. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Have you done Pebblebrook yet?
Pebblebrook. Oh yeah, I have. Yeah.
There's never anybody on the course.
Yes.
You feel like you're gonna die in the golf cart. There's cliffs. There's the tunnel. You're hitting. It's
100%. Oh my god.
That's not bad. Like $35, $40 golf. I'll take $35 golf.
Well, I'll tell you something about Pebblebrook. So so Max Allen and I actually went out to Pebblebrook one time with his manager Chris.
Yeah.
And there are hills, and there's lots of steep hills.
Oh yeah.
And
mountain
golf carts, as I learned, do not have the self-stopping. So, you know, we were humming down some of those hills, and we get to this place, and I mean, it was like, I don't know, it was like 75 or not 70. It was like 60 something bucks for this course, and I was like,
Oh, it was 60?
Yeah.
What day of the week were you going?
I don't know. It was a weekend. It was probably Saturday.
I was going to say, I've gone on there for like 30.
Yeah. No, right.
And I feel great at 30.
That's what I was expecting, but we walk up to this place and there's like all these signs around and it's like, be careful on the carts can kill. And we had to sign a liability when we get in there. And I was like, what is going on? I've never seen this before in my life. And then, we get on the course. I can't even say I was drunk. I had like 4 beers, I think, in an 18 hole. So it was like nothing. And so, I was humming down some of these hills and on 8, we're going to 18. There's this giant hill going down. And, I was just kind of let it go. There was no governor, so we were just letting it go down. And I like barely touched the brakes and we freaking flipped the cart on accident.
I bet buddy's flipping at pedal.
I felt like, because the whole time we were just like, this is like, frick this course. Like, we're not like
more sand on the green.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was like not that good and like whatever. But then, I learned my lesson really hard. And, Max was sitting right next to me and I just felt so terrible. I was like, I could have killed this kid. Like really, like we were going pretty damn fast. Yeah. And like, it just went, and we hit a tree and flipped and we got it back up and it was smoking. And then, so if you're, trying to calculate your prices for your next Pebblebrook visit, if you flip a card, it's only like $700. So just check it out, man. Be careful out there, bro.
We'll have to get on the links sometime.
Yeah, dude. Maybe not Pebblebrook.
No, we go to Riverside.
Yeah, we'll go to Riverside.
Especially right now, those off-season prices are good.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, Riverside's great. It's a nice little track, and
it's relatively easy.
It's very open.
You don't lose your balls.
Yeah, it's great. I shot a 79 last summer. That was the first time I broke 80. It was Riverside, so like. Whatever, but still, I shot a 79.
Have you done like golf outings and golf tournaments yet?
No, not yet.
There's a bunch of them out here. Where I'm sure you're gonna end up playing on.
Yeah, I hopefully soon. I think I got invited to one, and I just couldn't make it. I was pretty choked about that, but yeah, no, I love golf, man, and I've been playing men's league hockey as well.
Oh, okay.
There's a C league and a B league. I'm trying to find
is that the one the Big Loud's in? The Big Loud Beauties?
Yeah, they're in B, I think upper B at Centennial. Yeah, but I've heard about them, and like
Joey Moyes out there, I think playing goalie or something.
Is he? Is
yeah,
he really?
Joey's like the captain of the damn team.
I didn't know that. Yeah, no, I've heard about this team, man. Before we had signed our record deal, I was just like, man, I'm gonna go play against these big log guys and just bully them into a contract, But no, it was it's been great. I mean, it's just nice to like put the gear on again.
How often is the men's league stuff?
It's like, I mean, it's once a week. There's like 3 seasons a year, so it's like once a week, and I'll play like maybe once or twice a month, just like to jump around and have fun. But it's cool. Like there's a lot of guys that are kind of like learning to play and like whatever. So it's just like fun to like not really care and just get out there, and everyone's really nice, and it's been a nice little experience. Just
is
to
it
have
like contact beer league hockey like you see in Canada?
No, but
like beer league hockey in Canada, that's where you get some of the best.
Oh yeah.
If you want to watch hocky fights, watch a beer league hockey game in Ontario.
I don't fight anymore, but sometimes the old guys get a little upset because I'm just young gun coming in there, fresh out of college, and some of these guys are like kind of just starting like in the last 5 years, so. It's fun. I think it's great, but yeah, sometimes guys will get a little upset.
Do you get out to a lot of Preds games? Have you been?
I've been to one Preds game.
What'd you think as a hockey guy?
I think it was sick. I think they put on a nice presentation. I love that they have the live band going, and that's pretty sick.
Very Nashville.
Yeah, very Nashville. Yeah, exactly. They lost, but like whatever. It was sick. It was so fun.
It's a cool arena, and the fans get into it.
And it's like I think it's like it's the best location. It's the best rink location I've seen. In person at least. I mean, you can pregame and postgame right outside the doors of Bridgestone. I mean, it's perfect for an NHL team. I mean, it's really awesome. So
yeah, man. Have you been here when they've been in the playoffs?
No.
Playoff Preds, bro, is wild.
Yeah,
because
I bet.
They put like a beater SUV or like a Jeep or something outside of the arena, and before you go in, they have the hammer. They have like the big hammer, like sledgehammer, and all the fans can take turns because they call it Smashville of hitting the.
Oh, nice. Oh, like the ding. Yeah.
Well, not even hitting the ding. No, like you hit the car.
Oh.
Like the fans are smashing a car before going into the rink.
That's cool.
Like taking turns swinging a sledgehammer.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's
it
awesome.
started a few years ago when they were in the. That's like 7 years ago now when they were in the Cup against the Penguins. They started doing that.
Yeah,
it's
wow.
mostly during like postseason time.
Yeah,
or if they're hosting a playoff game.
I'll jump in on that. Yeah, that sounds fun.
It's the energy. I always joke with people because all my friends in New York are like, man, Titans are bad. I'm like, dude, people don't really care as much. Like, it's cool. Like, I've seen the Titans in the playoffs down here too. But Nashville's a hockey town when it comes to pro sports.
Yeah.
People get up for the Predators.
Yeah, 100%. I'd say, and like the cool thing is too is like, I mean, especially as someone who did this for a long time, and like playing in Dallas is like kind of weird for people to hear for sure. But the Stars did such a great job with their youth programs, like putting money into
Mike
it.
Modano, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. And he, they just did like there's more rinks in Dallas than there are in like most of the cities. Like in the Dallas Metroplex, like there's 15 rinks like within 30 minutes of each other, and so that was such an awesome thing. And all to say that Nashville is in a similar way. Like there's some great hockey out here. There's it's like a prep school, I think. It's called TPH.
Yeah.
That a lot of good hockey players come out of, and even the junior Preds are pretty darn good. If I don't know how they are now, but when I was growing up, they were pretty
legit,
good. Yeah, absolutely. So, it's cool to see even the big loud thing. Like it's cool to see that there is such a hockey persona out here
in the southeast.
In the southeast, yeah, exactly. It's so awesome. I'm really enjoying that aspect of it.
So we like golfing. We like what other things when we're not doing music?
Let's see, pool. I've been playing a lot of pool. We've got a pool table in our studio right now. So my roommate Tyson and I I think I've played like close to 1,000 games since I've been in Nashville.
Have you gone out to the bars and played against people now?
Yeah, I mean, Tyson and I were at Lakeside this weekend on Saturday. I think we played like 12 games in a row.
Wow.
Like that's our favorite. It's our favorite thing to do is go to the bar and play pool because we know that we'll be there for a little bbit. So anybody who wants to play us, you're on.
Yeah. You spend a lot of time in the East?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really go out that much. I mean, with this weekend as an exception, but I don't know, man. I drank a lot in college and had fun. Like
my thing is I've been sober for coming up on 10 years.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm still out at the bars.
Yeah, for sure.
All the time. Some nights when we're doing our business thing, and I'm hosting the events.
Yeah.
But other nights, I just you have random nights where you just go out. I went to the Skinny Dentist for the first time last week.
Dude,
it was cool, and it's funny. We walked in, first person I see, freaking Max Allen.
Oh yeah, Joe Jonas was there the other night too?
Yeah,
I saw that.
I was like, Joe Jonas is there, Sierra Farrell's just hopping up with the house band. I'm like, this place has got it going on, man.
Dude. Yeah.
East was not the place to be when I first got here.
Yeah, I was Max texted me that night and I was just like, dude, I can't get off my couch right now. Like I can't go out. But him and this guy named Keller Cox, if you're familiar.
Oh, I love Keller.
Yeah. He's like the nicest guy in the world.
Literally,
Yeah, and but anyway, they asked us to go out that night and I was just like, dude, I can't. But yes, there's some great spots in the East.
Underdog's cool.
Underdog's great.
Ernie's is great.
Yeah. I haven't been to. Ernie's. I have been to Ernie's.
Yeah, underneath up, right next to Lakeside. They got a good little strip of bars right there.
Yeah,
by
they
Basement
do.
East.
Yeah, absolutely. We went to and then Low Bars over there. Yeah. My buddy Tyson actually, he did Break Stuff by Limp Bizkit at the little karaoke room the other night.
We'll have to let you know when our next Butt Rock night is.
Yeah?
Because we do that full band.
Shut up.
We do a tribute to, the last one we did was actually in collaboration with Nickelback when their Live in Nashville album came out.
Yeah.
So we put together a house band and we get country artists to sing.
Yeah, man.
Sing Creed, Nickelback, Korn, Limp Bizkit, all those songs.
Good.
So we'll let you know when the next one of those is. Even if you don't perform, it's just like it's one of the most degenerate nights that we have.
For sure.
And everybody just drinks beers and rocks out the 2000s hard rock.
As you should. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a great night.
It is, man. It's I think Grady's been the one of them.
As he should. Yeah, 100%.
The chaos, man. So what are the goals now? Is I'm sure a goal for you coming in. What were the goals coming into this year?
Coming into this year, I mean, man, so much. I feel like a lot has changed just on the kind of like, behind the scenes. It's been a big year. we signed our first record deal this year with Records and Sony.
Which congrats on that.
Yeah,
that's a huge
thank you very much.
thing, man.
Yeah, very very honored to be part of that.
And congrats on finding one that you really vibe with and like, because you get a lot of pieces of paper put in front of you, but if you don't feel a certain way about the person putting the paper down in front of you,
absolutely,
then it's not worth a damn.
No.
But if you feel like you got the team and you got the right people around you, man, I can tell you they're big champions of you, man.
Oh well, yeah. No, I mean it's really been an honor. I mean, yeah, and you're 100% right. I mean, when I first got to town, I had, not so many, but enough where it was just like, you go to a big record label and you go sit in the nice office and everyone shake your hand and talk to you for an hour, and then you get to the end and you're like, so what's up? And they're just like, well, just like blow up and we'll talk to you soon. And I'm just like, what? Like, what the hell?
I could have written a song.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
That hour.
But no. I mean, it really comes down to that. It's the people at the end of the day. And when we walked into Sony and met with the records people, we were just like, okay, like these people get it, and they understand what we're trying to do, because on paper, really, like, all these labels are kind of the same. I mean, it's just who you can resonate with and who understands, like, the future vision of what you're trying to do.
And you came in with a project.
For sure.
So you had to say, what are they,
and
what's the reaction, what's the room doing when you're playing them Disappearing Days?
Exactly. Right. Yeah, exactly right. And, to the goals on the year, I mean, it's just like, that wasn't like... It wasn't even really in the cards. Like, nobody cared what we were doing. Like, even last year when we were making this record, I mean, that's why it was such a big gamble, is because, like, we were just trying to see, who would pick their head up. Once we said, hey, we have a whole album done that nobody has to pay for, we did it. But that was really that was a nice bargaining chip going into everything. But at the same time, I think our goals for the year were just, let's put out a great record. Let's, try and grow as much as we can and try and reach as many people as we can. And, a big thing this year that has changed is that I'm playing with a band now, which has been,
bro.
Like, that has been such an incredible, part of the experience. It feels like, you're on a team again. You got boys that depend on you, and you depend on them to put on a great performance, and you practice with them, get close to them, and I think I've put together, I'm biased, but like a pretty amazing group of guys that I'm lucky to share the stage with.
How many pieces we got in the band?
It's just a simple 4-piece, so it's just me. It's what I can afford right now.
Yeah,
but,
dude, that's how it starts.
Yeah, exactly. So we got my buddy Camaraderie on bass, he's slapping it around, and then one of my best buddies from Austin, Sean Greenberg, he's like a real cat, man. Like, he's sick. He's like our shredder guitarist. And then my drummer, Dylan Perry, he's a hardcore drummer. So he's in a band called Dogpile. Shout out Dogpile. They're like, it's like screamo hardcore shit. Like, it's crazy.
So he can play fast,
dude.
So him playing your stuff.
Yes, dude. I at first I felt so bad. I was like, bro, you can open up as much as you need, bro. Like, I want it.
I don't want to bore you.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Like, I feel like in our first couple rehearsals, I'll look over at him. He's just doing train beat. I'm like, I'm like, fuck, I'm sorry, dude. But no, he's been amazing, and I've gone out to see I've seen his band twice, Dogpile. At these just, it's mosh pit. People I got punched in the face my first show.
It's like a turnstile
show,
bro.
Oh, dude, it's
that world.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. It's crazy, bro. But no, it's been such a cool experience to, like, see other kinds of music. And Sean, my guitarist, he's he's a cat in Austin, and he plays all the jazz clubs down there, and he's been able to actually fill in on Kill Tony, the comedy thing, and in that band.
Yeah, that's sick.
But yeah, I mean, he plays with all those guys like around town in Austin, and going to see them at, like, they started at like 11:30 at C-Boys and played till like 2 a.m.
Late night, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's just like, it's the best musicians in, like, arguably the country. I mean, like, some of them, like, it's wild, man. It's so wild to see all these different kinds of music, and try and take little bits of it and put it into your stuff. And I'm waiting to write a song for Dylan to just, like, let him just have a 2-minute drum solo and go crazy. But But yeah, no, I think that's been an awesome part of this year. But other than that, man, I mean, it's been writing a whole bunch and trying to, like I said before, just get better at it. Cause, I do feel a lot more comfortable, like I said, coming into these writing rooms and, being happy with what I'm walking out with. And it's been such an awesome experience. And, I'd say goals going forward is just, continue to grow the music, try and get on the road a whole bunch more next year is like my goal is to.
Yeah. Or I know we have the record deal. You have a great manager, producer, champion, and Grady. Do we have a booking deal right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So, back to Mr. Wyatt Flores, he was one of the first people I got to go on the road with. And, he has been such a, great person to look up to and, learn from. But at the same time, he, pretty much right away, like helped me get a booking agent, get on his team with Jacob Lapidus at CAA.
Yeah.
And we've been on that for, like almost 2 years. It was like, it was last January, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I mean, it's been great. And, this year was like, I'd say the big focus this year was, getting this record ready to go and writing a bunch for next year, because we're putting another album out next year.
I love it. That Muscadine mentality has rubbed off on me.
Oh yeah, 100%.
After when those boys put out record one,
yeah,
they're like, we're only just gonna release records.
Yeah,
now.
right.
And I'm
exactly.
like, all right, boy. And they just now it's you get those.
Yeah.
So it's
100%.
like, why not, man? And
yeah,
if you love the process of doing it,
yeah,
and it's working, and you can put out something that you're proud of on a yearly basis,
100%.
Why not?
Yeah, exactly. Why not? Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think that was like. That was, when we first signed our deal and everything, and, we had this project ready to go, and, the label has a certain, strategy within putting their stuff out, and obviously it works. Like, they have some pretty incredible Sony.
Yeah, you've
Sony
joined
records
a great team over there, roster-wise.
Incredible rosters on both ends, and, so, they have a strategy, but at the same time, we were just like, this album is something that, we've had in the chamber for a little bit now, and we really want to put it out this year. And, they were a little hesitant at first, and, we were just like, hey, we'll give you another one. Like, it's okay. Like, we're not trying to rush the term. We're not trying to get more money out of you. Like, we just want to put more music out.
We want to get music out to the people and grow this thing.
100%. Yeah. And, I think the best way to do that is just constantly be in front of people and, have more, chances at bat, to do that. So, and, going back to finding the right people, I mean, it was definitely a challenge to kind of, get them on the page of us, and like trying to, take this strategy that isn't a normal strategy, which I understand, but, they're all game for it now. And like, it's been a pretty, incredible thing to, find people that can mold to what you're trying to do, and, be supportive in, the strategy that you're trying to take. So, I've been writing, all year this year. I think in my head, I have, probably 3-4 months left of writing to do. And then, we deliver this next album in May, and then we'll start putting it out, whenever. But yeah, it's been pretty
awesome, man.
Yeah, 100%.
What's something that you would tell that kid? I'm trying to think, because you've lived so many different lives.
Sure.
Where it's like, but I guess that, like, when you get when you and Grady start connecting, and then you start coming out here,
sure,
and then you make the jump to move out here, a little over a year ago now, which is nuts to say, right?
Yeah.
What's something that you would tell that kid that moves out here,
dude?
Like younger you?
Yeah, I mean, just keep going, man. I mean, it's just like it is daunting to like, because now you move to this town where the best of the best are, and they're constantly coming. There are more of the best probably moved here today, you know? Yeah. So like
these 50 people,
right?
That's
exactly,
that's
right? Exactly. Yeah. Oh, is that right?
Yeah. It used to be 100 a day. Now I think we're down to like 50 or 55.
Okay, all right. Well, slowing down, yeah. But no, man. I mean, I think I had the right mindset coming in, and it was just like, Grady says it all the time. It's a hot air balloon ride. It's not supposed to be a rocket ship, until it, hopefully does one day, get there. But, as long as you can see consistent growth, whether it's small or big, like as long as it keeps getting better, like you just have to keep, feeding the flame, man. I mean, you have to keep writing, keep putting stuff out, keep posting videos, and,
yeah, man.
Doing the whole bit. But, I'd say just, I'd say to myself, cherish the wins that you have, because sometimes there'll be a month or two stint where you don't have much going on, but then something happens and you got to be ready to go. And that's, I think, true of just this whole industry as a whole. It's you got to be on your toes for real, and it's been pretty awesome, man.
It's awesome,
it's been
man.
so sweet.
Well, hey, in so many ways, you've accomplished a lot, but you're just getting started.
Yeah, 100%.
You're just getting started.
Yeah.
The hot air balloon is just going until it gets its rockets on there, man. And I love the way you put it, where it's just adding to the fire.
That's
you know? Like you're hanging out with your buddies around the fire pit, and you're not ready to go home yet.
Sure.
So you're just throwing on logs. You're looking for shit to throw in there to keep the fire going, man.
100%.
That's what this is, man.
Yeah.
That's what the music is and the content and all of that, dude. Well,
yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on here.
Dude,
and hanging
of course.
out,
Yeah,
it was a
thank
pleasure. And hope to get out on the golf course with you, or just kick it. Like literally, just say when, and we're always down.
Let's go, man. Yeah.
Appreciate you, and everybody can find you. It's Brandon Walter.
Brandon Walter, yeah, that's right.
Just
check it out.
Just straight on Instagram.
Brandon Walter Music on Instagram and
so
TikTok.
It's music, not
right. Yeah.
Some people put music, some people put songs, some people put sing, some people put official. They bounce all around.
Oh yeah.
Brandon Walter Music.
I've just got the one, so if anybody else DMs you, it's not me. I swear.
Have you run into that yet?
Dude, it's so weird. I mean, it's like, but it's like, it's always bots. And then you get like, it's so obvious. Like it's, some people will send me DMs and they're like, oh, this person, were you asking for money? And it's like, why would I ask you for money?
Why would I ask I'm asking for money when you come and buy a ticket to the show and you get a t-shirt. It's like, you get a show and you get a shirt.
I had a buddy of mine who, they had a bot reach out to a fan or whatever, and the person sent them like $500, and then like they DM'd him and we're like, hey, like what the heck? And he's like, why would I ask for that? Like, what are you doing?
My
like,
tickets are not that expensive.
There's a certain amount of accountability that you have to, have on the web.
There's some Darwinism,
for sure. But it's been interesting. But just the idea that somebody would take your work and make an account, and then they get a couple thousand followers, like just that alone is like, all right, that's kind of cool. Like
it's working.
Yeah, exactly. But in the same breath, be careful. Like I have one account. It's not me.
Brandon Walter Music.
Yeah, that's
Give
right.
Him a follow, TikTok, Instagram, and y'all be sure to go check out Disappearing Days. It's out right now, brother.
Dude,
thank you so much.
Thanks so
Appreciate
much,
you. Gonna send you home with an 8-pack of Surfside.
Let's go.
You spent time living in Philly.
Yep.
They are a Philly-based company.
Oh, let's go.
They actually, their parent company, Stateside Vodka, Xfinity Live outside.
Didn't they just?
Now it's Stateside Live. So
that's what I heard. They
have the naming rights.
Okay,
what was once.
That's right.
Xfinity Live. So Stateside 100%. Live and vodka lemonade, vodka iced tea, vodka green tea, vodka. No bubbles, no troubles. It ain't a seltzer, damn it. It's a Surfside. And for more on us, visit raisedrowdy.com. From my man Brandon, I'm Matt Burrill. This has been Outside the Rowdy.